Departure tax at the airport will rise to $200 from $120. New arrangements for Thailand tunnels starting this Saturday. And Secretary for Justice explains why Hong Kong is the best place to set up the international organization for mediation. Hello and welcome to TVB News. I'm Melissa Hekalea. The Legislative Council approved a bill to increase the individual air passenger departure tax from $120 to $200 after completing its third reading. This after Financial Secretary Paul Chan's budget proposed the tax hike to start on the 1st of October this year. The government expects the measure will generate an additional $1.6 billion of revenue annually. LegCo's deliberation of the proposed amendment continued this afternoon with lawmakers Gary Zhang from the New Project Party and Yu Pak Lung from the tourism constituency voicing opposition. The pair said the tax hike is contradictory to the government's desire to develop tourism. However, a number of other lawmakers believe the $200 tax will only have a limited effect on those visiting the city. The bill was passed with 77 votes, 2 objections, and 5 abstentions. The government will take over the Thailand tunnel at midnight on Saturday and reduce the tolls for all vehicles. This came as the free-flow tolling service, Hong Kong e-toll, will be implemented from 5 a.m. on the same day. Mimo Singhai reports.
In a press conference on Wednesday, the Transport Department announced the details of arrangements after the government takes over Thailand tunnel. Authorities said they will stop the tunnel's operation for about 5 minutes from midnight on Saturday. Manual auto toll collection will be in use until 3 a.m. Between 3 and 5 a.m., the tunnel will cease operations completely for the switchover. At 5 a.m., the tunnel will resume its service with the implementation of Hong Kong e-toll. Private cars and motorcycles will not be required to stop or queue for payment. Under the new toll system, a flat toll of $18 will be imposed on private cars on Sundays and public holidays. On weekdays, the toll for private cars decreases to $45 at peak times from the existing $58. The toll will be $30 for regular periods during daytime. Taxis will pay a flat toll of $28 all day. Meanwhile, the flat rate fee for trucks and buses is $43. The Transport Department said the lowered toll fees could make better use of the tunnel's spare capacity and help reduce traffic congestion. Memos 9, TVB News.
Water supply was gradually restored throughout Tuen Mun starting at 6:30 this morning. A water pipe burst on Tuen Mun Road yesterday, cutting off the water supply to many areas of Tuen Mun last night. The affected road was also reopened to the public. The Water Supplies Department said it took longer to find the source of the leak because of the depth of the pipe underground. Authorities completed repair work at around 3 a.m. The cordoned-off Tuen Mun Road was reopened at 5:30 a.m. The burst pipe affected several housing estates, including Tai Hing Estate and Shan King Estate, home to around 200,000 residents. Secretary for Justice Paul Lam said the International Organization for Mediation, or IOMED, would fill the gap in the global dispute resolution mechanism. Lam's comment comes with Hong Kong set to become the headquarters of IOMED. Mimo Singhai reports.
Reconstruction work is being carried out at the Old Wan Chai police station to convert it into the International Organization for Mediation. On Friday, the city will host the signing ceremony of the Convention on the Establishment of the International Organization for Mediation. Foreign Minister Wang Yi and representatives from nearly 60 countries from Asia, Africa, Latin America and Europe will attend the ceremony. Speaking to the media on Wednesday, Secretary for Justice Paul Lam said the fact China and other nations agreed to set up the IOMED in Hong Kong shows their support and trust in the city.
People can come to Hong Kong very easily. Hong Kong is very safe. It provides a very convenient and safe and comfortable environment for people to come here to sit down to resolve the dispute. And then, of course, we have a lot of legal expertise and persons involved in dispute resolution industry who can provide all sorts of supporting services, including administrative support.
Lam said the IOMAT will probably handle 3 types of disputes.
Firstly, dispute between different countries. The second type of dispute would be concerned with dispute between a country and a foreign national. One good example is investor-state dispute. And the third type of dispute would probably be international commercial dispute between private entities coming from different countries.
The Justice Chief added that IOMAT will help promote a mediation culture.
It would be a very important milestone to have, for the very first time in human history, an intergovernmental organization devoted to mediation. So the importance attached to use mediation has been raised to a much higher level. Firstly, we start with Hong Kong. The main task is to give people the confidence. We have to emphasize that mediation is a confidential process, but I think the same idea would apply internationally.
When asked about the IOMAT opening time, Lam said it will need to depend on the provision and contract of the convention. But he says it should be the end of this year or early next year. Memos 9, TVB News.
We continue our series of reports from the U.S. on how Donald Trump's policies are impacting people and businesses. A large number of cargo originating from China are now heading to America as the trade war eases. TVB takes a look at the local logistics industry's response to the wave of shipments. Danny Zhou has the story.
This logistic warehouse in Los Angeles, which used to store garments and electronic products from China, has scarcely received a single new item in recent months. Chester Chong, president of a local transportation group, said companies paused transactions immediately after the Trump administration enacted the tariffs. The resulting uncertainty disturbed their operations and induced layoffs threat. Months later, a truce in the Sino-US trade war has led to a buying spree in a 90-day window. Chong needed to face the challenge of redeploying manpower and vehicles to receive shipments, saying their businesses are hampered by the fickle policies. Chong admitted that he has mixed feelings about the decision to vote for Donald Trump in last year's presidential election. The American government claimed tariffs would fix the country's financial deficit without the slightest consideration of their impact on people's livelihoods, he said. The so-called MAGA is making Trump great, not America. A large quantity of Chinese cargoes that have been stored for months are about to arrive at U.S. ports. Some practitioners in the logistics sector said they are ready to face up to the challenges.
There's going to be a tsunami of cargo coming from China. We have upgraded our port facilities for those kind of situations. I think we're more resilient in the way we can handle cargo. I don't think well prepared is the correct description. I think we are ready to do the job, and we'll do the best we can.
Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Welcome back. Britain's King Charles III said Canada is facing unprecedented challenges in a world that's never been more dangerous as he opened the Canadian Parliament. Daniel Rao has details.
US President Donald Trump's repeated suggestion Canada should become America's 51st state prompted Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to invite King Charles III to make a speech outlining the Liberal government's priorities for the new session of Parliament. A horse-drawn carriage took King Charles and Queen Camilla to the Senate of Canada building for the speech. It was accompanied by 28 horses. After inspecting a 100-person honor guard and receiving a 21-gun salute, the King entered the building as the crowd cheered. Charles, who is the head of state in Canada, which is a member of the Commonwealth of former British colonies, addressed ongoing geopolitical tensions from the outset of his speech. He said since the Second World War, the world has never been more dangerous and unstable. The king reaffirmed Canada's sovereignty, saying the true north is indeed strong and free, highlighting its right to self-determination.
Today, Canada faces another critical moment. Democracy, pluralism, the rule of law, self-determination, and freedom are values which Canadians hold dear, and ones which the government is determined to protect.
The king said Canada must protect Quebec's dairy supply management industry, which US President Trump has attacked in trade talks. He said the Canadian government will protect the country's sovereignty by reinvesting in its armed forces. Trump has asserted Canada doesn't spend enough on its military. The king also said Canada would look to the European Union to purchase military equipment. The speech isn't written by the king or his advisors. He read what was put before him by Canada's government, but can make some remarks of his own. The king returned to the UK after the speech and a visit to Canada's National War Memorial. US President Trump seemed to respond to the king's visit. He wrote on social media that if Canada becomes the cherished 51st state, it won't have to pay to join his future Golden Dome missile defense program. Otherwise, Canada would have to pay a reported $61 billion. Dan Orell, TVB News.
In China's Guizhou province, a 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope, the world's largest single dish, is expected to draw a 20% surge in the number of tourists this year. The fast radio telescope, also known as the China Sky Eye, is in Pingtang County in Guizhou. The tourist spot received more than 60,000 tourists over the Labor Day Golden Week holiday. It recorded close to 1.3 million visits in 2024, up 13% year on year. After it was put into operation in 2020, the telescope discovered more than 1,000 pulsars, including a rare millisecond pulsar just last week, in a bid to create a navigation system for the universe. The hospital authority launched its integrated Chinese Western medicine pilot program targeting arthritis patients in the city in a bid to relieve patients' joint pain and reduce the negative side effects of medication. Timothy Lee tells us more.
It's a scene that may become more of a regular occurrence in the near future. Two orthopedists, one practicing Western medicine and one practicing Chinese medicine, working together to treat patients. The hospital authority noted the need for this cooperation arose from Hong Kong's rising elderly population, with cases of arthritis becoming more common. Yuen Long's Pak Hoi Hospital introduced the joint Western Chinese medicine treatment on its premises in May last year. Those seeking treatment for early stages of arthritis at specialist outpatient clinics currently do not need to undergo joint replacement surgery. They could voluntarily accept referrals with clinic consultation fees costing $120. Patients here primarily receive treatments including physiotherapy, weight management, or medication. Representatives of the Akshay noted they have acquired Chinese medicine experience on the mainland, having introduced treatments such as acupuncture and the use of Chinese medicine.
I think the strategies that we try to put into is really to capture that when we put in together with the Chinese medicine, we have the advantage that we can put into overall the treatments.
In the long run, they don't really need all those major surgery and they can keep their own biological knee joints. Now we incorporate Chinese medicines into our treatments to expand our spectrums for non-operative treatments.
As of now, the Western Chinese medicine program has been implemented across 5 Akshay hospitals. At least 280 patients have received such treatments as of the end of March this year. The hospital authority stressed its determination to apply the integrated Chinese Western medicine pilot program to Hong Kong's arthritis patients, primarily stems from the city's aging population problem. Health authorities said the program aims to strengthen patients' joint functions and to slow down joint degeneration. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The police received more than 40 reports of scam cases surrounding online sales platform Carousel, involving more than $4.6 million. One case involved a woman providing her email to a fraudster who feigned interest in buying throat lozenges from her. The latter then sent a phishing link to the woman, who followed the site's instructions to provide her bank account information, resulting in her losing some $650,000. The police reminded residents that Carousel does not request users to provide their emails for payment. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.